Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. I'm your host, Peter Sirs. You're welcome. And thank you. Before you start this podcast, which you already did, but if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, just do me a favor. Leave a review. Tell me you like it. Tell me you don't like it. Tell me you don't like what I'm wearing. Whatever. Just leave a review or rate it. Share it if you are so generous. Subscribe if you want to get the notifications of it coming out. That would be great. I'd really appreciate it. It helps, believe it or not. You can make a difference, so do that. But anyway, without further ado, my guest today, we've been talking about boxing. It's come up several times on this podcast. And then when I met this young lady a couple months ago, I was like, oh shit, and bam. And so she's a comedian, but she's also a very avid boxing instructor, I've learned. And I've been to the place that she works at, but I haven't been able to go to class with her. But anyway, and then I just learned that she's from Nashville, which is my third favorite city in the United States. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for comedian slash fitness instructor, Caitlin Eckstein.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say Eckstein?
Stein. No, it's Stein.
It's Stein.
Yeah.
Okay. People are weird about that.
I'm imagining people giving it up and applauding for me at home right
They're
now.
for sure.
They're
No,
like, yes.
it's so. So I know you've listened to all 41 episodes of my podcast.
Fuck yeah.
And every the goal of the podcast was initially we kind of learn on the fly with some of these things, but was to for me to share that not all comedians we do have issues, but some of us actually take care of ourselves.
Some of us are well adjusted.
Yeah, some of us find we have issues, and so we find ways to work them out. No pun intended. We eat right. Some of us exercise regularly or train people, and just we care about health and fitness. And then it's kind of evolved, but I'll bring different people in from the entertainment industry as well, not just comedians. And then I'll also bring in fitness people. So you, like me, are both. You're a fitness person and a comedian. So what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good.
Thanks for coming to our studio.
Yeah, obviously. It's funny. I feel like I always feel super. I don't know if you feel this. I don't know if you feel this way, but I always feel super torn being a comic and a fitness person.
For sure.
In fitness, I'm sometimes I don't like to bring up that I do comedy, even though it's a great place to get people to come to your shows.
Of course.
You're like, I'm a comic. They're like, you support me, I want to support you.
Yeah.
But it also feels a little self-indulgent. I'm not here for me. I'm here to help you be the best version of you. So it feels silly to bring my shit up, unless it's a private client, and then we know it's your hairdresser. You tell your trainer everything,
right.
And vice versa.
I get it.
I'm like, they know too much.
I know so many things.
They know too much.
But they know stuff about us too. It's
oh no, they know everything.
It's therapeutic on both ends.
I trained a therapist who cries pretty frequently. She was like, is it normal? I have so much fun, but every time I start hitting something, I just want to cry. And I'm like,
oh, hitting something. Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
When we hit mitts and
Talk
stuff.
about it all the time.
And I'm like, fuck yes, that's
great.
It's also if it's your job to take on other people's feelings and keep your cool 24/7. I expect you.
No cuss on the podcast. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna ask, but then I was I think I got away with two of them already.
I'm just kidding.
I'm is it not that technologically advanced?
Some
you can't
people say,
censor that shit.
You cuss too much, and
sorry.
I'm like, no, I don't. I talk like I talk.
We curse in class too, and it's so funny. Some instructors do it a lot, and some don't.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because people have their own opinions about it, but at the end of the day, we're just people.
You have to be yourself.
People, you have to be yourself. It has to be authentic.
People buy into whatever your thing is. So if you're funny, if you're a drill sergeant, if you're this, people buy into you.
I'm a funny drill sergeant.
Yeah, me too.
It's tough love.
Dude, I tell well, I no longer teach anywhere, but I would I would tell jokes. I just make it fun, you know what I used to love to do is especially because I'm a little bit older than some of the clientele at the other place I was teaching at. I would play a song that would be California Love or something that everybody knows, but then I'd be I don't know if this chick knows. I'm like, hey, who sings this song? They'd be like,
I don't know.
Biggie. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, no, but like it would just make class fun. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, who sings this song? And they'd be like, I don't know. I'm like, this is New Kids on the Block. Are you serious?
It's probably one of the greatest compliments I've gotten as a coach. We just celebrated our
1 year.
1 year, 1 of our locations.
Yeah, got it.
Our 1 year, yeah. And they put out like a poll on Instagram because my job is really good at Instagram. And it was like, what was your favorite memory at this location?
I think I read this.
Yeah, and one of them was like taking Caitlin's class and like she making us laugh like so hard, but like still trying to tell us that it was a part of the workout.
Yeah.
I'm like, if we're laughing, we're breathing.
For sure.
And I don't know, but it's.
I just like having fun, man. Like,
I don't know. It feels like the same job, to be honest, comedy and fitness.
you're performing.
I'm like, it's 45
to an
minutes.
extent.
Gotta hold your attention. If I'm lying, you're gonna know. You're gonna know.
Right.
It has to be vulnerable, or they'll like yell at you. That's the thing, and I think that's just. I don't know if that's just LA fitness though, where like you have to be like this like bleeding heart. While coaching, I don't know if you've experienced the whole like I don't work for Soul Cycle, but it's a very similar brand where it's not just you have to offer more than a workout. You have to offer this like next level spiritual.
Yeah, I'm not really spiritual.
Whatever. I know it's so funny too, and I think that's where people get cut in our training process more frequently than not is the inability to talk about your fucked up family life or something. I'm like, this is comedy. I can do this. I can. We're gonna talk about the pain today.
When did you? Because you weren't always a boxer, you said.
No, I started with indoor cycling. So I used to teach for a company called Flywheel. Love their method.
They closed everywhere.
They closed in LA
at
least, yeah. And I'd left there probably 9 months before they shut down. And everyone judged me for it. And I was like, why the fuck are we staying on a sinking ship, y'all?
Yeah.
Get the fuck off. I had a mentor once tell me, she was like, if you're on a plane and it's going down, everyone's telling you it's gonna be okay, it's not gonna be okay. And get the fuck out of there.
What would you do if you were on a plane that was going down?
I don't know.
Would you try to call somebody?
I'd probably figure out who has drugs and take all of them. I'd be like, let's go out.
That's fair.
I mean.
Yeah. I'm probably usually.
Who has Xanax?
Stoned.
Who has Xanax?
I'm usually stoned on the plane, though.
I mean,
I sleep on the plane.
I wish I could. I do weird shit on a plane. I think, so you know how there are people on planes who are like, I don't know. I'm that person who does something like odd and alarming on a plane, and I didn't realize I did it until very recently. I'm a small person. I'm not saying I'm like super flexible, but I need I can't do the stretched out sleeping on a plane. It like hurts my back. So I managed to like work my way into a tight fetal position, getting my entire body into the seat, like feet up on the seat, like everything, like an upright fetal position.
I don't think I could do that.
And then I just fall asleep in this like ball. And I'm like, that must be fucking weird for anyone who's sitting next to me.
Well, if you're sitting coach for sure, which is where I usually sit.
I feel very talented in the moment.
I feel like if you're in first class.
I'm like, this'll do.
First class, you could fucking do whatever you want. But in the coach, you're
if
just
it's first class, I'm like curling up in like a ball like a cat on
You've
a
flown
pillow.
first class? I've never flown first class.
You've never flown first
Never.
class? Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
I've flown first. My dad flew me out. He used all of his fucking points. He flew me out first class when I went home to take care of him after he had open heart surgery.
Oh, shit.
So I'm the only physically fit enough person in my family to have taken care of him after his surgery. So,
so you're a fitness person, but no one else in your family is.
Right. Which
like
I think that happens.
Yeah.
We're here for a reason.
It's
here
weird.
for a reason.
My brothers get mad. But I'm like, you guys don't work out. Like my brothers, they're trying, but like.
My sister comes to me. She comes to me for advice. And my sister's also been pregnant twice and was on bed rest for one of them. So like, and she's not my body type, so it's harder for her to lose weight. She's like, I just like you see some women just fucking snap back, and I'm like, Yeah, but
I've seen women. What I always
I've seen
tell
some.
them,
I'm like, that'd be me. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
like working out through your pregnancy.
fucking nail it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen teachers teach
Yeah.
until like their last fucking 2 weeks.
I've
You're
seen
like
people running still, like
running.
5-6 months in. I'm like, you're running? They're like, yeah, I ran before. I'm like, fucking A, man, right on. But everybody's
No,
different, obviously.
everyone's different.
Some people can't. They tell them they can't do anything. But
Mhm.
like, if you get a full bill of health and they say go, just keep going.
Do it. Yeah.
It's easier to get
And
the weight
it's-
off
yeah.
afterwards
Oh my
if you
gosh.
work out through your pregnancy. Science tells us.
For sure.
I'm not being an asshole.
Science.
It's just science.
Science.
So when did you start boxing?
Oh God, it's a little over 2 years.
Okay, so you're like,
I'm a novice.
yeah.
I'm like a super novice. I had to work very hard to be ready to teach. So I had prior coaching experience. I knew the owner through I'm an ambassador for Carbon 38, so I knew her through that. And I hit her up. She was like, "We have openings for coaches." I was like, "I do not know how to box. Like, I don't. I'm severely uncoordinated. So like, learning something new takes me time." But they put in the time. I was training like, I was still teaching 20 classes a week and training like
That's
3 to 4 hours a day for 6 to 9 months before I actually got put on the schedule. Which is one of the things I like about our brand. We do like quality control, like up to here. Like if you go take with any instructor, like you're gonna get.
I get it.
You're gonna get what you paid for, in a sense.
You probably also have to say that too.
I do, but I've also been places where it's way worse. Where like you walk in as like a veteran coach, and you have so many people that have never taught before or have like they were just sort of thrown into the ring, and then you have people come and that's their first.
That's a good pun.
Impression of ha didn't even mean it.
I know.
But that's their first impression of that studio. That's their first impression of that method. So if you have a few too many weak links, you're losing. Everyone's losing clients.
For
so
sure.
like I'm a huge believer that like teamwork will take everyone further than the individual effort. So it's a hard. I have a friend currently trying to get a job there, and he's like, he was like, it just feels like hoop after hoop after hoop, and I was like, and that's how they cut out the people that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. It's right from my house. I've been a few times.
Yeah.
I just do so many things.
I would ask you who you took with, but we're going to talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, we'll talk about it
because I
afterwards.
really like my job still.
We'll talk about it afterwards. How long have you been doing comedy?
So funnily enough, I did my first show in like 2015.
Okay.
So 4 years. And then, because the training was so rigorous, I was like, and I hate like half-assing anything. So I took probably a year and a half off just to like.
Of comedy?
Yeah.
So you started and then you stopped.
I started
and
then
again.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It's hard, but it's like also not like. I don't know. I'm in it for the like. I'm here to play the long game.
Yeah,
like I don't care how long it takes. Like I feel like I took a year and a half off, and it was totally worth it to set up like my finances enough to like. I don't want to be a starving comic.
We were talking about that before.
Right. Like I'm not here for it. Like it doesn't put me like. I get that some people write some of their best material when they're like in the fucking shit, but like no, like I like making a decent amount. I like having the freedom to be able to like produce my own show and do a podcast and also only work 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
And like that took a year and a half to build, but totally fucking worth it because now I can show up every fucking day for comedy versus like showing up like once every 2 weeks and being like, I'm sorry, now I have to go work. And then like I wanted when I like really like established a presence in comedy, like I wanted to make sure I was like here to stay. So it was like, it was worth it.
Okay.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm the same way. Like we were talking about it before, but it's just like, I know people, Paul, I'm sure you know people, and we're not naming any names. I like to make sure he's paying attention.
He's like, I'm not here.
I like to make sure he's paying attention sometimes. Like the people that talk about, like, they'll brag or like wear like a badge of honor, like, oh, I just do comedy, right? but then they're like,
But then
oh,
you find out their lives, and you're
yeah,
like
I can't pay my rent, or like I'm living on a couch with 4 other dudes,
Or
and
they're
I'm
like-
like this.
or they're like, I'm hosting 8 hours of open mics every day, and
yeah,
you're
and
like,
it's like,
I'd rather like make.
I would rather buy a pair of shoes.
I would rather make that like 50,
Yeah.
I make
get it.
way more than that
Yeah,
and
I
just
get it.
go to open mics.
But, I get it, because there is something about just being able to focus on comedy. Like, I get that. But, like, some people just, I feel like,
well,
don't quit your job until you can support yourself just doing comedy. Like, actually support yourself. Not, like,
right.
get help from your mom and dad or not fucking whatever. Like,
Oh my
just support
God.
yourself. Because there's a lot of that, too.
I can't, and it blows my mind, like, because I grew up privileged. I grew up, my dad took care of I like don't have student loans, like living the high life, But after college, it was like, if you want to stay in LA, that's on you. Like,
Yeah.
there was never like fear that I would end up homeless, but like, if I couldn't pay my bills here, like, I would have to go home, and
Yeah.
that was just like.
Did you go to school here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I went to an acting conservatory in Hollywood, AMDA.
AMDA, American Music Dramatic. What did it stand for?
Yeah.
The Academy of the Music and Dramatic Arts.
American Musical and Dramatics Academy.
Okay, that's the one on Highland.
Yucca. And
Yucca.
Frank. No, yeah, Yucca and Vine.
Okay, yeah.
Across from Capitol Records.
Okay, yeah. Got it.
It's like so
It's like
long
right in
ago.
the heart of Hollywood.
Heart of Hollywood, and I was
The heart.
18.
Oh yeah.
My dad to this day is like, I never should have let you go. And I'm like, you had no choice. Like, I got straight A's. Like, I didn't do shit. I'm a rule follower, so that I can like do my own thing at the same time. Do you know?
So you
does that make
came.
sense?
You came here what 2006, 7?
2007.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm coming up on 13 years.
That's great.
It's something.
That's that. I
It's
mean,
impressive.
I'm just trying to think of like, because as an 18-year, for me as an adult, like an adult going to like Nashville, you're like, oh, like I love it. Different culture, obviously, or just any different city for that matter. But as an 18-year-old, you were very young to come from there to here. Like, that's way exponentially different.
I've always felt like I had a strong head on my shoulders. Like, enough so to like test it. So
Okay.
I was like, I'll go, but I won't lose myself.
Right. You're like Julianne Hough's character in Rock of Ages.
Yes.
You've seen it?
Yes.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's obviously a musical too.
It's the
but
greatest musical of all time.
it's pretty. I like the music. I tell you that it's a fun soundtrack. There's actually it's here again in LA.
Yeah.
And I want to take my girlfriend because she loves 80s like hair bands for some reason.
I mean,
she's not old enough to like have been alive then, so it's just weird.
that's probably why she likes it,
Probably.
because it's retro.
Probably. But I feel like she would like the live version. So you came out here. So you didn't initially. You were studying acting here.
I was studying acting. I feel like you just learn as you go. Like, I've always felt like I knew what I wanted to do every step of the way, even if it. That's my dog.
Oh, we have a dog in studio. Where's she at?
She's probably just under the table. Yeah.
This is the first time we've ever had a dog on my podcast.
I'm so sorry.
That's
she's
okay. No,
she's
it's fine.
emotional support
She's
for
tiny.
many clients. I used to teach a 5:45 a.m. class.
No effing way.
And I would bribe people to come to it, and I'd be like, "I'm bringing Grace. I'm bringing Grace." They're like, "Okay, we'll sign up." Like, she's more popular than me.
So you were taking her to a show?
Have I taken to a show?
Yeah.
No.
Like bring your dog with you, like Eliza.
I would love to, honestly. She's kind of like I'm like,
it's like her thing
great
now,
fan of her comedy, but even bigger fan of her dog momming.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, her dog died.
Grace would be.
And she got a new dog.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I stopped following her.
Oh, Eliza.
I don't, but it's not like.
I don't care.
It's
not like she listens to my podcast.
It's one of those things where like I still want to see my friends post, and so I stopped following people who post more than once a day.
Oh, really?
Because it just clogs my feed, and because it's not the people, it's the algorithm. Like, there's just accounts that I don't get to. So, like, I'll do a cleanse every now and then because I'm like, I don't.
So if Caitlin unfollows you, it's because you were posting more than once a day.
Or like 7. Like, I can't.
Now, are you talking posts like in the feed
like
or stories
on the feed,
too?
because I have an option to look at your stories. Do you know what I mean? But like the feed, it's just like if I go on my Instagram and it's the same, like the first 5 fucking photos are from the same person.
Yeah.
I also don't get when people do a post and it's like they have like 7 pictures on the post, but it's just them with like a slightly different head tilt angle. I'm like,
different angles.
It makes sense when there are 2,
because
then it's like, Yeah. But if it's like,
someone just did that today, and I was like,
I'm like, oh, god damn.
Okay, that's fair.
And then I don't know. I don't like social media. I hate social media.
It's like, it's almost not. It's like essential.
I was gonna say you can follow me though. I know. I have a contract with Box Union.
Really, you have to post a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See,
And then I moved all my comedy to my fitness page because it was my most active account because I was obligated to post to it.
Did you have 2 different accounts?
I have 3 accounts.
Oh, wow.
So I have an old personal account that's just like archives now. And then I had a podcast that I did before I stepped out of comedy. That was like based on this like comedy character. And so that's where I put most of my personal opinions that I didn't feel were work appropriate.
Yeah.
So it's just like all videos. And then my fitness one.
Okay.
But the most supportive people I have in my life are my fit family.
Yeah.
So it made sense to post comedy there because those are the people that want to know and those are the people that are going to show up.
Right. I feel like people just buy in. Like, I mean, now like the big word is like quote unquote branding. But I feel like, for me, it's just like, it's just people know the things that I enjoy. They know I like the Dodgers. They know I work out. They know I do comedy. They know I fucking like Vampire Diaries and pop music. I'm like, so that's the shit I'm going to post about. Like, and I know it's all over the place, but that's just me. So like, and some people, follow me because of my fitness stuff. And some people follow me because of my comedy stuff. And then some people just somehow find me from I don't know.
I don't know how those people find us, but they find us.
And it's like, hey, if you don't want to follow, don't follow. Like, but I know people. Were you talking about this, Paul? I was talking about this to somebody.
Paul, back to you.
Like, I know people that have like an app that will tell them when people unfollow them.
I had it for a day.
And I'm like, I would never want that. Like, I'll find out eventually.
One, it hurts, but then also, like, if you truly think about it,
it's crazy.
If you don't find out, it doesn't bother.
It's crazy.
It's hard for me to care.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to take something that's so, like, not genuine and, like, care about it.
It's crazy that people are that
bullied
obsessed
too much.
with it.
I'm immune to that shit.
Bullied?
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
Weren't we all?
I was.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
I laugh. I joke with my boyfriend a lot because early in our relationship we used to argue over the fact that I don't take things seriously enough, and he tends to take things too seriously. So like sometimes I'll like crack a joke at him or I'll pick on him just like a little bit, and he'll get super butthurt about it. And I'm like, you weren't bullied as a kid, were you? Like you take yourself way too seriously.
You think that's what it is? People that didn't get bullied.
He was so pretty. Like he doesn't know how to like. He doesn't know how to like bounce it back. I'm like, I'm just fucking with you, but it just cuts. He's also a Scorpio, but
I don't know what that means.
We don't have to talk about that. I get that this is not a girl.
We've
this
never
isn't
talked
a girl
about
podcast.
fucking, stars and crystals
Leave
and fucking horoscopes. No idea. I'm like, are you hot?
It's a
Are
thing.
you funny? You laughing at my jokes? All right, we're good. That's it. I don't care when someone was born.
Oh, okay.
At all.
I mean, unless you have to like remember their birthday.
Well, I mean,
right.
obviously.
You're like, I don't care when my mom was born.
I feel like my
Do you think I'm funny?
Wait, I feel like my girlfriend's a Scorpio. Now that you mention it, but
so we don't care, but we still know.
No, I think
When's her birthday?
October 30th.
Yeah, she's definitely a Scorpio.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know because I'm like, I think she
probably
is
sensitive to it too.
Yeah, she is, but like, I don't know.
It's not because of her sign. I know.
We're just different people, but that's why it works.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to date myself.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no. I couldn't imagine. It blows my mind. It blows my mind that comics date and have sex with other comics.
It doesn't blow my mind.
What?
No, it doesn't blow my mind.
We're the least attractive people. Like,
speak for yourself.
I'm a 10 until I open my mouth and jump straight down to a 6.
Here's what I think.
Such a bummer killer.
I see it working and I see it not working.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, because ultimately, like, a comic will understand, like, the ups and the downs and the emotion, like, that comes with it, and just the roller coaster and, like, the late nights and the not wanting to be at social events and just, like, all these things. Like, whereas a normal person, like, hey, I have this dinner for my work, like, and, you know, I'm like, I don't want to fucking go and hang out with your work friends, dude.
That's
like,
so funny.
do they want to come to my show? No. So I don't want to fucking go to their stupid function. But then a comic will get it. They're like, okay, well, we're just going to stay here and write or whatever, or you're going to go do your show. Like, I don't know. I think it works on both sides.
I think maybe.
I just think you have to be compatible with somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
See,
because I'm dating someone who's totally antisocial.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And
Perfect.
understands the late night grind.
Okay.
And I'm usually pushing him to do social things, but that's just because it's good for your mental health.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm like, you need friends. You
think
need
you need
more than just me.
I think you need friends. I think, this is just as a comic. I think you need to be able to do things that you enjoy doing, like that aren't even comedy related.
Right.
Just like I love going to, like, Dodger games.
Right.
And it's like, it just makes me happy. Or, like, going to, like, concerts or something. Like, love it. Like, it's great. And it's like, cool. Like, I'm being entertained tonight. Like, cool. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to, like, worry about my set. Like, and I enjoy it. It makes me feel good.
It's kind of one of the things I like about having, like, there are people who are like, I do stand up only. And I'm like, I think I could make it as a successful comic and still want to do something in fitness, because it does create a sort of balance in my life.
Yeah.
Like, there are days when, like, comedy really does not make me feel super great about myself.
Yeah.
But then I go into those spaces and I'm with those people in a different family, in a different group.
And totally different vibe.
And it just refills your cup. And then you have days where you're like, I'm not the greatest motivational speaker, boxing coach on the face of the earth. But then I go and my comedy friends are like, fuck that noise. Fuck the world. You're like, yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks.
We have, I always felt like, and this is why I started the podcast too, is because, like, even, like, when the day comes when I no longer train, because the day's gonna come, like, I will not train anymore.
We have a expiration date.
I mean, for real. But like, I'm still gonna be very active in fitness and health, and, like, one of my goals, I would love to be on the cover of Men's Health.
Yes.
But, like, rewind, like, to back in the day, it wasn't like, now if you're on the cover of Men's Health, you're a famous person that has a movie coming out or whatever. Like, that's how they do it. But back in the day, it was just, like, fit dudes.
Right.
So I probably have to achieve a certain level of, like,
fame.
Fame to get on the cover of Men's Health. But I would like to be in a fitness magazine because I do cool shit myself. But, like, even, like I said, when I'm not training, like, I'm still going to be taking care of myself. I'm still going to be eating right. I'm still going to be telling people that they should do those things. I'm still going to be telling other comics, that they need to, like, maybe exercise a little bit and do.
Some of them get it. So I feel like comics are coming around.
We're changing it. Yeah, the trend is changing. I feel like people like Joe Rogan.
It's not funny to be ignorant.
It's
if that makes sense.
It's
so
so
I feel
weird,
like
though.
we just know so much now. It's hard
like,
to...
I've talked about it before on stage, even, like, you'll go to a show and someone, like a comic, will be on stage and they'll be like, so I like to get drunk, or I like to get high. And then, like, other people are like, woo, right? And then if you're on stage, and it happens a lot where you're like, so I work out a lot, and then immediately nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
There's
And
not the
also,
same.
like,
There's not the same level of support for
I
taking care of yourself.
I actually got it was I did the improv Brea,
Uh-huh.
and I think I mentioned something about being a boxing coach just as an intro, and there was a guy in the front row who's like, "What?" I was like, "I'm sorry, you want to take this outside?" I'm like, "Fuck you!" Like, but also like it's interesting. People can't see, people don't see the two married.
Yeah.
I've also like been told, and this is a thing as a female comic, and I've seen other female comedians do this with their brand or their look or whatever. Like if I go on stage and I wear like jeans and like a cute like crop top, nothing like slutty, but like show that I have abs.
Yeah.
That is the only thing people will say to me after the show.
Right.
They'll be like, "Oh my God, your abs. Oh my God, your arms. Oh my God, this." I was like, "But what about that joke I told about my boyfriend coming on my back? Like, what about that joke though?" So like, I wear baggy stuff.
Yeah.
I wear sweatpants. I wear big hoodies. I wear big sweaters. I just I cover up the fact that I do work out because it's not funny.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
also,
hard.
People also don't like feeling bad about themselves. They
Yes.
want you to shit on. They want to feel like you're self-deprecating yourself so that they can relate without having to take ownership. That's the job of the comic. I think.
It's funny to people, or even like not even funny, but like in regular people when like they get to feel like maybe you're inferior. Because the second that it's the opposite, they're like, "Oh, fuck this guy, fuck this girl." Like if you're on, like when a pretty comic is on stage talking about how like guys like her and stuff, like a lot of people are like, "Fuck you," except the dudes that would potentially want to fuck her. And if the dude's on stage, it's the same thing. It's like, well, no, fuck you, man. Like, so it's a really fine line. And people always are like, "Do you talk about the gym when you're on stage?" I'm like, no, because
no, it's not.
70% of America doesn't even know what a gym is. And it's just like I've been trying for 7 years to work it in there, and like I'll say like little things where it's just like little like throwaway things, but like I can't write material funny enough about the gym. It has to be like like that you hate the gym,
right?
Like a Jim Gaffigan or like rah, and you're like everyone's like laughing because everybody hates the gym. Like,
I had a decent set where I talked about my job once, and it was more of like an unhinged riff. But it wasn't me talking directly about fitness or working out. I was explaining how good I am at my job. I was like, I am so like I was explaining how I hated the politics, but like I love doing it. I was like, I will make anyone feel like they can do anything they want, regardless of their circumstances. You will be the best comic. And it was just like I was just stroking the audience the entire time. And also, like, you can't be too angry as a female on stage. They tend to like a little positive. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's hard. Just developing a brand.
Yeah. It is hard.
For anyone.
Of course. I want to change gears just because.
Sure. Oh my God, I love that.
I could talk about comedy all the time.
We could talk about everything.
I want you to talk, because it's come up so many times that I love boxing and other people, and so like
boxing
for somebody that like, just talk about the benefits of the boxing or what boxing did for you, or just if you're trying to sell somebody on boxing, because you're a girl, obviously people think of boxing, they don't always think about girls, but I've seen like videos, and I know a lot of girls that are great at boxing, and it's like it's a thing, and it's empowering and it's whatever, but I would like you to sell it to somebody.
Okay. Well, the first thing I would say to anyone considering it is, most contact sports are intimidating.
Yeah.
For most people. Boxing is also probably one of the hardest sports to learn. So the first thing I would say is don't get discouraged.
Yeah. I love that about it.
I was like, don't get discouraged. And that, it's, everything can go back to comedy, but, it's similar in that there's always room for growth. There's always, like, it's not like you can't master it in a day. You can't master it can hardly fucking master it in a lifetime. Emotionally, I feel, let me figure out how to phrase this. Emotionally, I think it is more impactful than most physical activities. Uh, I think aggression, I think anger, I think feelings that we normally label as negative should get their time in the sun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think we have to feel all the feelings on the spectrum, and giving them the appropriate outlet is, I mean, I lash out at people in my life less
For sure.
now that I hit a
Yeah.
bag. I don't suffer from depression nearly as much. I mean, I have like,
Right.
I was gonna say my days, but anyone who suffers from depression knows that it takes like weeks to get out of a hole. But it doesn't happen as frequently. I feel like there's just an element of being able to humble yourself, I guess. I don't like when things are too easy. So if you're, I mean, I would say, like, if you're looking for a challenge, like, box. I'm also like a product of like physical abuse, sexual assault, starting from like a very young
different
age.
podcast. No, I'm kidding.
No,
Keep
but
talking,
like,
keep talking,
and like,
keep
I
talking.
find that a lot of the people who end up in that room or doing this sport have suffered major loss or have experienced physical abuse, and especially for women. Just to share a story without names, I work with a lot of people in recovery, and I work with a sober living home for women on the west side, and there was a client there who wasn't there for like drug and alcohol abuse. She was there for PTSD, and she had been sexually assaulted, but with a paralytic. So she was she was awake, she was conscious, she was present for the whole thing.
Like she got drugged?
But she was drugged and completely paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
So she had zero control of her own body. She couldn't move her own body. And I ended up doing a private session with her, and she hit me up afterwards, and she was like, that is the best I have felt in so long. And I was like, well, it fucking adds up. Like, you didn't have physical control in that moment. You felt insanely helpless. I feel less helpless, like, as a person in general. Like, I feel more confident doing everything I do on a day-to-day now that I box. And it's a severely humbling sport. So when I'm feeling bad about my comedy, when I'm feeling, I just, go back to the work. Fucking hit shit.
Dude, I never thought about it because I've talked about, like, I was physically abused throughout my whole childhood. I never really thought about that, but I mean, everything like depression, stuff like that, which, are always topics that come up. A lot, I feel like.
Obviously,
especially when comics are in here.
Comics and fitness.
Yeah, but like, most of it always stems back to like your childhood. Like, like every time you're in therapy and you're talking, it's like, oh, well, when this happened when I was 8, you're like, fuck, dude, like I'm 40 now, dude. Like, why am I still talking about shit when I was? But that's what happens, like, because it molds your brain.
Yeah, you developed.
But I never thought about
those experiences.
That, like, liking boxing so much, maybe having to do with the fact that I had been through.
I think
physical abuse.
Any person that's ever felt physically helpless, can connect to a contact sport. Yeah.
Because I do not feel physically helpless anymore. Like,
no, but
I
it's
fuck people up.
But like then when you're in the zone, like I'm a very friendly, bubbly person.
cry sometimes after boxing class.
That's one of my favorite things.
People make fun of me, but I'm like, no, you don't get. Like, I don't know why. It feels good.
It meant you actually like let go.
Yeah.
You're not holding on anymore.
I'm about to cry right now.
Let's do it, man. I have one client. I tell her, I'm like, because she's like, "Am I supposed to cry? Is it okay if I cry?" And I'm like, if you're crying, like, it's fine. We need tears on the gloves. Like, make sure the hands are getting back to your face. Like, just cry in your gloves.
Yeah, I like it. There's something. I mean, like, hitting the bag is like, just hitting anything, but like preferably a bag. But also, like, I've always talked about on this, like, when I'm doing like mitt work with somebody, for me, like, the challenge of like what's the combo? Like, all right, we're doing this, and then now you got to duck, and now you got to block, and now like, and even though I mess up a lot, like I like that because I like being challenged. I like pushing myself. I go hard. I don't half-ass it when I'm in the gym. I don't half-ass it when I'm on stage.
Well, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, like I'm there to get better. I'm there to take care of my physical health, my mental health, but like I want to actually be good. You know, like to maybe like one day post a video of myself doing a combo on Instagram, which I've never done because I don't feel like I do it good.
And also like in your head, you're like, and this is where I've had to like stop and just be like, because they're like, we need more boxing content. We need to know. We need to let people know that we're good fucking boxers. And we are. Like, sure, we box to the beat in a room full of 40 people, but like, you talk to some of the best boxers in those classes, and they're like, yeah, I learned how to do it here. So like, I've started posting videos recently and watching them, and it's hard because like, you know, especially when you know what it's supposed to look like, you're like, I feel like such a fraud. Like, I can't post this, but then you're like, no, even professional. You watch a professional fucking fight, and someone will throw a punch and drop their other hand down to their waist. You're like,
Do you watch boxing?
I do, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty squeamish. So, I think it's like it has a lot to do with like an overactive imagination. Like, I really don't like seeing like people's faces cut up and bleeding. I don't know. I just like, I feel it. Like just so much empathy in my heart.
No, like MMA or anything like that.
MMA is like a lot for me. And my client's husband represents Nate Diaz too. So
shout out to the OG Fresno. Stockton. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and she's like, did you watch that fight? And I'm like, nope. He has so much scar tissue. It's like he's in the ring for like 2 minutes. And it's just like,
he smokes a lot of weed too.
He does. He does. Both that client and her husband are both super sober. And they're like, we have this joint that Nate Diaz rolled us.
Hilarious.
We don't know what to do with it. I was like, fucking sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Sell it on eBay.
He goes to the Comedy Store like regularly just to hang out.
I heard that. Yeah. I know someone told me who else was there. Anderson .Paak.
The rapper.
Yeah.
Totally different conversation.
Yeah, but I like him.
I would even know.
I was like, I wonder that I thought about it. I'm like, I don't know what he looks like. I know what he sounds like.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what he looks like. There's a lot of people like that.
I feel it made me feel like I need to start Googling those people so they can see them at the comedy store.
Well, when I saw, I watched the AMAs a couple months ago, and like I know, like I'm, as an instructor, I don't know, like I'm always like listening to like the new music on Spotify just to see like what can I use in class or even just for myself to work out. I love creating playlists.
It's like it's a part of the business.
Yeah, and for your thing especially because you guys do it. Like the other studio that I used to work at, we had music, but it wasn't like we were doing anything.
More like ambiance.
Yeah, it's in the background just to give you just to bring the energy up. But you're not like you guys are doing it on the beats. But I'm always listening to music, and like I know like so many, and I love music. Like I've always been like someone that love music. Point being, when I watch AMAs, like I was seeing like some of these. I'm like, oh, that's what they look like.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like, okay. Oh, she's hot. Fuck.
It's kind of.
That's what that dude looks like. What the hell?
It's interesting too because I was thinking. I think we're on the same brain. It was like, how big do you have to get in music for people to know what you look like?
Yeah. Well, I think with the death of like music, I mean, I know there's still music videos, but like
some of them
we grew up like watching. So like you would equate the song to the video, and then like you knew who that person looked. But now it's like I couldn't tell you the last time. I only watch a video if Justin makes it. Timberlake.
Right. Oh yeah.
I love Justin.
I love Justin too. Who doesn't like Justin?
Fucking feminists.
Paul.
Paul loves Justin Timberlake.
JT.
Feminists say that Justin Timberlake is bad, and I'm like, whatever, dude. You weren't saying that when you were doing the Bye 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 dance, submitting it to TRL 20 years ago. So, all right. What about physical benefits of boxing? I feel like we talked more about how it's like therapeutic, which it is, and that's one of the reasons I love it. But like, what about like physical? Because
and my body changed so much when I started boxing. Because before that, I was just doing a lot of cardio, I was teaching a lot of indoor cycling, was maybe doing weights like once or twice a week. And I'll look back on pictures. Now I had like 0 arm definition. I was underweight.
Okay.
My weight my weight range had been stable for probably 5 or 6 years, and it has since, like, my ideal weight range, I feel like has since changed since I started boxing.
Because you have more muscle now.
So it's like, oh, like I think I put on 10 pounds, but stayed the same size.
That's great.
It's the first time in my life I felt I had to start doing more lower body. First time in my life I ever felt top heavy, which is interesting as a woman. You're like, oh, okay.
I have shoulders.
Yeah, I have shoulders. I have back. I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to like comment on it because because for me, fitness has always been a mental thing. Like, I've never struggled with weight. I've always been relatively thin, and for me, it was feeling physically better versus an aesthetic.
Okay.
So it was interesting when I started boxing. Other people noticed the physical changes.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing for your abs? What are you doing for this?" And I'm like, I don't show up at the gym and target regions. I don't I'm not like, I need to look a certain, like, it's like, if I feel healthy, if I feel like I can wake up every day and like I'm strong enough to like live my best life, then fuck yeah. Like, my back is way stronger. So like my commute hurts my back less. Like, that's where I'm physically taking mental note. 'Cause like, people, I don't know, people always want to know, and I'm like, if you fixate on like just trying to build an 8-pack, it's gonna take you forever to get an 8-pack. But if you wake up every day and focus on just trying to get better at a sport, if you decide to learn a new sport, your body's gonna it's just gonna change.
Yeah,
it's just gonna evolve.
Just the shocking the body of anything, like anything that you do, it's different.
It's evolving for that sport too. So like my breath is, even the way I breathe is different. So I feel like I'm better at heavy lifting now because the breath that you use to box is different than the breath you would use for cycling or yoga.
Right.
It's more of like a brace.
Yeah. You're sprinting basically when you're boxing.
I don't know. It's
like basket. It's the same, you know.
And people don't think it's cardio either, which blows my mind.
Get out of here.
They're like, is it enough cardio? Like, when I started working with, I have a few clients, but I started working with one, and she's overweight, and her mom wanted her to train with me and take classes. And then she was like, yeah, but then try to fit in an extra 30 minutes of cardio after class. And I'm like, do you know that we're doing 45 minutes of high intensity cardio for
I love like keeping, it's hard to keep the Fitbit on underneath the boxing gloves, but like I'll do it sometimes. And like, because if you just enter the,
I don't know if I believe half those numbers.
Mine's pretty good, dude.
I get so worried when I see some people's stats. I'm like, is there not enough active recovery in this workout?
I think, like, because when I enter it manually, it'll say like this, but when I enter it and I could actually look at the grid, you know, in the app, and then it'll tell me like where my heart rates were, and so I'm like, oh, for sure, that's pretty right. That's pretty right.
Okay. Yeah.
For mine anyway. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones that are kind of like I think the regular, like the basic Fitbits.
Yeah.
Like they just measure like steps basically.
Yeah.
Like, there's a GPS and it kind of just follows. I think that one isn't as accurate.
Yeah.
But like the better ones, for me, I'm like.
I've seen some of those heart rate charts though.
Yeah.
I'm like, you must.
Some people,
I try not to judge people, but I'm like, okay, this is definitely the beginning of your fit journey.
Yeah.
Because I'll like post it, because they'll post it, and then you repost, because
of course
branding.
Yeah.
And I'll have clients hit me up. They're like, I told you it was too hard, and I'm like, this
No, just keep going, dude. It's not too
192 peak is not normal.
Right.
Average of 170. No, they
Have you-
walked in with a resting 100. Like, this is not on
Right.
me.
Have you ever been to Orange Theory?
I have. I love Orange Theory as someone who like wants everyone to live their best life and be the healthiest person they can be. Go to Orange Theory. Like, it'll make you feel successful immediately. If you have your heart rate under fucking control, most frustrating workout.
Right.
I'm a very competitive person.
Yeah. And
So
you're
I'm in better shape. I'm working 50 times as hard, and I am losing.
And you're looking at the thing, you're like, fuck off. You're like, try to get in your blue zone. You're like, I'm like, dude, fuck you. Yeah.
Fuck you. Do you know how long it's
bullshit.
gonna take me? I could do this entire class and not peak. Oh God, yeah. So, but I love it.
And also like they're walking, but their heart is, and you're like, no, Dick, I'm like running, and you're walking. There's no
I'm at
way.
a full sprint, and my heart rate's at 60.
Get out of here. But yeah.
Oh God.
But if people like it,
but that's good because it gets people who aren't in shape working because it's like benchmarks are so important. So if you feel like you're scoring or winning every step along the way, like.
There's a community aspect to it.
There's a huge community vibe.
There is an accountability. Like you do see, I think what it's great for is like people seeing how they improve. If they like, if that's the only thing
you
they do.
want to be able to measure progress.
And they can, just things that they can measure.
I do that with clients too.
Yeah.
So I do like a push-up plank challenge with a couple clients. So
I feel like me and you should have a push-up plank challenge.
That noise. Fuck that.
And Paul too.
I gotta get paid to do it. I get paid to work out now. And it's just a way because like it can be frustrating.
Look natural.
And you can feel like you fucking suck.
Act natural. Act natural.
And you can act like you fucking suck. And so every week, because I try to see clients more than once a week. Like Monday or first session of the week, like I'm like, okay, just hold a plank for as long as you can. Do as many push-ups as you can, and I just write down your stats. Because like you could be 6 months into training, feel like you haven't gotten anywhere, but it's like, look, you started at 5 push-ups. Yep. Now you're at 22. Yep. Now you're at 30. Now you're doing a 5-minute plank when you started at 30 seconds.
5-minute plank, like Cher.
I have a client who does 3.5.
Cher does 5, and I'm like, she's like 80 years old. Why is she doing a fucking 5-minute plank?
She can do a 5-minute plank because she's been planking for 80 fucking years. And that's the thing. Like, you can't, like, and when people want to lose, when people have, like, aesthetic physical goals, I'm like, you will get nowhere. If you want to see progress move on a straight line, measure what your body is capable of doing. Yeah. Like, that.
It's hard not to compare.
It'll keep you committed.
I feel like it's hard to not compare. I mean, it just, even though you shouldn't, it's so hard to see like, and I'm a guy and I think this, but like looking at like if I look at like Michael B. Jordan or someone, I'm like, fuck, dude, that'd be so fun. I know. He is. And like for that movie, he got like shredded or like for specifically, I'm talking what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal in Southpaw.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he might have had some help.
Well, they all have fucking help. Like when you have resources, when you have opportunity, when you have money, when you have time.
About help, though.
Oh, okay. You mean right?
Mexican supplements. But I mean, like, fuck, dude. Like he's jacked as like he looks amazing, and like you look at that, and it's hard to like be like, okay, well, I want to look like that, instead of just being like, actually, I just want to look the best I've ever looked. Like that's what I should focus on. Yeah. For everybody. Like
I think I just want to feel the best I can feel. Yeah. And as a result, I've ended up in the best shape of my life. Yeah. And that's, I think, working towards the internal versus that's my advice. That's always been my advice to people in fitness, though. It's just work towards feeling your best. Yeah. Eventually, you will look your best. Yeah. And try to have fun along the way.
I feel that's
like I do not like. No offense to people who do go to the gym, but I fucking hate gyms. Like I can't remember. I used to work at a gym, so I would go Friday evenings when they were vacuuming just to do my heavy lifts, like when no one else was there.
Yeah.
Like I just don't like gyms, and I don't like doing reps. I don't like doing sets. It doesn't. But like if you get me in a room and we're fucking moving and hitting a bag for 45 minutes to music that I like, and I can just like then it flies by, and I worked harder than I would have had I not been having fun. So
I've talked about it here and on my social and stuff, but like I myself am a gym person, but I understand that. No, it's fine. No, because I say that like I'm like, just because I like going to a gym, I understand that you might not like it. So find that thing that you like. I never thought I would like boxing.
Right. Well, that's why they call it a journey too.
Yeah.
Like, you just start
and I show up
somewhere.
And like, cause my girlfriend went to the studio, and then I went, and I'm like, fuck, dude, this was fun, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but like working out is also fun. So like, for me, I like doing all kinds of like I do hot yoga, I run,
I mean, we should do it all though.
Yeah, and we should. I agree. But like, if you hate it all, then maybe don't do it all. Maybe find the thing that you like.
But like, find something.
Yeah, find something that you like. It doesn't have to be a gym. It could be a type of workout. It doesn't have to be,
and like,
something you pay for.
Here's something I tell people too. I'm like, not everyone, like, you don't have to have an 8-pack to be in shape. Like, it doesn't have to be high intensity.
What about
exercise.
like a 12?
I mean, that's, oh God, that's so much.
What about like the little path to paradise? The little arrow that points down to my.
I have one of those.
Yeah, hashtag me too.
Like, I have one, and it like has layers.
Yeah, the path to paradise is what I tell my girl. I'm like.
I call it my uterus basket.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So it's like.
Cause that's mostly. It's honestly. It's mostly diet.
You could hike.
Yeah.
You could hike fucking 2 hours.
We went to the Hollywood sign on Saturday. My buddy. Huh.
And eat well, and still like be okay. Like just move.
I think society's fixation with abs. It's like I get it, but it's like I mean, and I have them, but like I also eat really well.
Yeah, and like also, and it's a body type thing too. Like dance is such a great form of exercise, and some of my like favorite dancers or friends that I know who dance aren't the thinnest people in the world, but that doesn't mean they're out of shape.
Yeah.
They're just living their best fit life. I don't know. Some of us are just born to be shredded, man.
I don't think I was. I just think
I definitely was.
I got obsessed. I got obsessed at some point.
I definitely was.
Because nobody in my family is like at all.
That's interesting.
But I mean, they don't. Most of the people in my family don't eat well either. Like, so it is what it is.
And it's funny because I only started getting in shape like probably it's been 7 years. But like I used to be a cigarette smoker, like super depressed, like didn't do anything. And it was.
You still smoke cigarettes?
No.
I don't judge. I'm just asking.
No. My boyfriend does. So if you smell it, that's probably it.
I don't.
Okay.
I was just asking. Could you set that?
Good. It's only recently that I realized there's like I wouldn't say tipping point, but a tipping point. Like, you hear people complain quite frequently about how easy it is to fall out of shape, but like how hard it is to get into shape. It was so over the holidays, I sort of like fell off the wagon for about 6 months. It took me 6 months to start getting out of shape, and then when I started working out again, 2 weeks to snap back.
Okay, so you are.
So I feel like there's this threshold, like in the fit journey too. So there's hope. That it's not always as difficult, where if you're in shape enough, you can have a rough month or 2 months or whatever and still be able to like
I agree.
Get it back.
I like it.
I'm like, let me just box 4 days in a row, and
that's too many for me.
It's a lot.
Well, it's just too many for me because I do other things.
It's high impact though. That's what I tell people too. They're like, I'm like, it's not cycling, it's not yoga, like you have people.
It's hard in your joints.
People come to you and they're like, I've been boxing 5 days a week. My shoulder hurts. What do I do? I'm like, take Advil, put some CBD on it. Like maybe take a day off. That's what we're dealing with. Like.
Yeah, I always tell like when I see people like because like every studio wants you to like get a membership or to get a this, and I'm like, I do other things. Like I'll come back. I promise if I like it, I'll come back, and I'll come back regularly, but like I have other things I'm doing too.
Right.
But like I understand what you're trying to do, but like
some people like just want their thing, and like
yeah.
we cater to those people.
I'm too all over the place.
People like I think it's more for people who are insecure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or they just don't know. Like they don't have a thing, so it's like, well, let this be your thing.
And then it won't be until someone else shows them something different that they'll find something different.
Caitlin, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Oh, perfect. Yes. So my Instagram handle is at workitwithcake. Work is with an E, so it's WERKITCAIT.
I'm really wishing I didn't ask you that.
Yeah, it was painful.
Work it with Kate.
Work it with Kate.
CAIT.
Yes. And
Yeah.
work is WERK.
Yeah, got it.
Spelling. We don't.
It's fine. We'll tag you in the photo and then
Fitness
they'll be like
people.
Yeah, I get it.
This isn't. You didn't tell me it was going to be a spelling bee.
Do you have? Are you on Twitter also?
No, no, because my mom's on Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. TikTok.
No.
Snapchat, LinkedIn.
Like I said, I hated
that's
social
fair.
media. I do the bare minimum.
Okay.
Plus, it makes it easier. Just find me in one fucking spot.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have anything coming up that people can look out for or anything?
I'm doing a set at the Comedy Store. I'm doing a lot of things in February for my birthday.
When's your birthday?
February 18th.
Okay.
And then I'm producing a show with a couple friends at Bar Lubitsch. And I think our first date is March 2nd.
Okay.
So I would say follow me on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, for updates if they want to see her comedy and whatnot.
Comedy classes.
And take classes with her. I'm going to take classes. We've been trying to coordinate and like our schedules all over the place. And then I stopped teaching. But you can come train with me though. I train right around the corner.
Oh, okay.
We'll figure something fun out. I love content. And people like, I know, like I said, I know there's people that follow me for fitness stuff and there's people that follow me for, so I always try to give everybody what they want.
Right.
But it's also just me being me.
Give the people.
So, yeah. If you're listening to this, I will be this Friday, or I'm sorry, rewind. Thursday, if you're in LA, me and my buddy are starting a new show at, it's called Black Star Burger. They have a separate room in the back where we're going to start running our show, Black Star Comedy. That's going to be Thursday, January 30th. Come out. It's free. You can RS. There's an Eventbrite link on my social media. And then Friday, January 31st, I'm going to be up at the Haha Live with my buddy Travis, who was on the podcast last week. And then if you're listening to this, go there. If you're in somewhere else, all my dates are on my website, www.peterserge.com. I'm going to be going up north to wine country in a couple weeks, and I'm going to be up in San Antonio at the end of February, and I've got a lot of road dates coming up. So yeah, just stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Caitlin, for stopping by. Thank you to Grace, who's down here somewhere running around my foot. And thanks, guys. Camera adds 10 pounds. Tell a friend. Bye.